Hello. Tonight we are going to explore one of the developmental theories that we've learned about in class in relation to the play Dear Evan Hansen. So let's begin. Oh, I think my sweater is attached to this tree.
I've learned to slam on the brake before
Dear Evan Hansen is a Broadway musical about the story of a socially anxious high school teen who feels alone and disconnected from everybody around him. His social anxiety really inhibits his ability to make friends and form close relationships. His mother, Heidi, is the one that raised Evan. She raised him on her own because her husband left both of them in years prior. So while Heidi loves and really cares for Evan, she works during the day and then attends school at night so that she could provide for the two of them. So this results in Evan spending a lot of time at home alone and just kind of being by himself. And this contributes to his feelings of being invisible and his overall lack of self-worth. Heidi also has a lot of difficulty connecting with her son because she has a hard time understanding his social anxiety and kind of what's going on in his head and how that contributes to why he can't make friends. When we're exploring the difficulty Evan has when it comes to making friends, we can apply attachment theory to his relationship building as a teen. So in Daniel Siegel's book, The Developing Mind, he addresses in one of his chapters attachment theory and how one's attachment style as an infant influences his relationship patterns later on in life. So we're not sure, based on the plot that we're given of the play, when exactly Evan's dad left, but it is clear that Evan didn't have a strong father figure present for much of his life, and he did spend a lot of time alone. So between working and school, his mother had a lot on her plate, and Evan most likely felt her inconsistency and this lack of accessibility as a child, similar to how we see he does in the play as well. By observing Evan through the lens of attachment theory, we can attribute his social anxiety and lack of friendships to these experiences he has growing up. When exploring the different attachment styles named by Mary Ainsworth, Daniel Siegel points out that children whose parents are inconsistently unavailable, those children tend to be anxious and not as easily soothed as maybe infants with a more secure attachment style. So Ainsworth labels these as ambivalently attached infants. And these infants may develop into what Ainsworth labels as preoccupied adults. So as children, they may experience feelings of absence or being unseen, and then oftentimes they may have predispositions for social anxiety, as Siegel puts it. And this can really be seen through the case of Evan Hansen. So growing up without a father figure and a mother who constantly worked and was attending school, it really set him up to spend a lot of time alone, which eventually he developed this social anxiety disorder, which is where we get to experience him in the play. And that's really held him back from forming those close friendships. So this lack of friendships and this social anxiety has really maintained his insecure attachment style throughout his life thus far, that we especially see at the beginning of the play. Up to this point, we've been able to see Evan as a socially anxious teen, which was most likely influenced by his early infancy, his lack of a father figure, and his mother just being overall inaccessible, despite loving him deeply. But then he connects with the Murphy family after their high school son, Connor, who was in Evan's class, commits suicide. So the Murphy family, they're this wealthy family of four, very traditional, have family dinners together, pretty much the exact opposite of the family Evan grew up in. So they find this letter that Evan actually wrote to himself that got into the hands of Connor, and they come to believe that Connor and Evan were best friends. So they invite him over for dinner and start to question him about the relationship. And Evan really just kind of goes along with it. At the beginning, he is unable to speak up, But then he starts to form a bond with their family as he recalls these fake memories. So he maintains this facade and continues to go along with the role. So he starts to have dinner with them regularly, and it's almost like he's taking the place of their deceased son, Connor. So there's this specific scene that stands out where you can kind of see his transition. It's between Evan and Connor's father, Mr. Murphy. And so Mr. Murphy gives Evan one of Connor's old baseball gloves and shows him how to use it. And so the two are able to bond through this interaction because Evan never learned these skills as his father wasn't present in his life. And now Mr. Murphy no longer has a son to share these things with. So through this relationship, Evan starts to make a name for himself, really. So he gets the confidence to create this project at school called the Connor Project, where he honors Connor's memory. And so despite that, the fact that this entire friendship is fake and fabricated, Evan uses the confidence he's gained through his relationship with the Murphys, and then paired with the Connor Project to get recognized, and people start to notice him. And so the development of his close relationship with Mr. Murphy leads Evan to overall become more vocal and start to form more relationships. And he even dates Zoe Murphy, Connor's younger sister, who he's had a crush on for as long as we know. And that's his first romantic relationship. And then eventually he has this moment where he's able to really express himself to his mother and bond with her, which he hasn't been able to do before. So this instance illustrates how one's attachment style can change over time as a result of different life experiences. So now that I've set the stage, I want to introduce the specific artifact that I'm presenting. The second song in the play is called Waving Through a Window. It's pretty much the anthem of the play, and Evan's anthem. And it really gives the audience a sense of what Evan's going through and a look inside his head. So he sings about feeling alone and being ignored, and kind of looking at life as a bystander, as an outsider. So specifically in the chorus, Evan sings the following to show his desire to be included and feel like a part of something. But really he feels like the entire world is kind of going about their business, and he's an outsider observing life through a window where no one notices him or hears anything he says. So in the chorus he says, "On the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass. I'm waving through a window. I try to speak, but nobody can hear, so I wait around for an answer to appear. While I'm watching people pass, I'm waving through a window. Can anybody see? Is anybody waving back at me?" I chose the song Waving Through a Window because it depicts Evan's insecure attachment style and allows the audience to really see and feel how he's operating in his current developmental stage. We can get a sense for how Evan views himself in the world and just what a lack of close relationships and friendships has taught him to believe about himself and how it's influenced his day-to-day functioning. And I think attachment theory really fits well with this song because it best represents Evan's character, a socially anxious teen with a non-traditional upbringing and family. Dear Evan Hansen is a prime example of how one's attachment style during infancy impacts his relationship building style later on in life, but also how this isn't permanent. So one can grow and change, and this style can really be altered through different life experiences.
Step out of the sun if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sun because you've learned